So, hi everyone, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Stephanie. We are reliving a Scandal episode called We Do Not Touch the First Ladies.
So,
great episode. So
loved it.
Let's dig
Loved
in.
it. That was
I'm going
a
to
big
apologize off the bat. I did not have red wine as per Scandal
protocol,
but we are enjoying a nice white wine.
because red wine may not be dinner or food.
That's right.
But white wine can be.
Okay, so there's so much stuff to talk about. Okay. What did you think of the whole dynamic between Fitz and Olivia?
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it too.
I liked to see a little bit of standing up and telling him off, and
it was like I felt like Olivia was back. I felt like she was back, and she was standing up for herself, and as she said, she's doing things for her, and
she is not a prize. She is not a
hen.
She is not a hen
to be won
at the state fair.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was good, and you kind of caught glimpses of that throughout the episode where she stood up for other things as well. So anyways, I thought it was a great opening scene, and
I felt for Jake though.
I felt kind of bad for him because, and that was the part was, there was like several things throughout the episode and in general with Scandal where you would really think as if, but the thrills are so great and the twists are so great and like everything else just makes up for it that you kind of roll. Yeah, you kind of roll with it. So yeah, Jake was standing outside while they were having this massive argument, but I thought it was a great first opening scene where Olivia stood up to Fitz, and it kind of set the tone for the rest of the episode because last week's episode was fantastic and it was all good and they were back, but for me it kind of lacked some of the tension where you're just kind of sitting there going, ugh. And so
we were definitely doing that this week. Yeah, that's for sure.
So that first scene was good. Lots to talk about, and you thought it would happen a lot more about Andrew and Melly.
Yes, whose name is Andrew.
Yes,
and
that's
not
okay.
Nicholas.
That's okay.
Some minor details that maybe.
There's a lot of names in the show, but Andrew and Melly.
Andrew and Melly, and I knew that we were gonna, I want to see a little bit more.
But it was a good like
we do not touch the first
lady.
lady.
We learned so much. I thought so much, starting from. When there was the whole potential of a drug scandal.
Yeah.
And right away, Andrew steps up and says it was him, prescription drugs. And I don't know, I had a little twigging in my head,
that it was Melly?
Because
just that you knew he was taking
I just thought he was too quick to own up to it.
Right.
And then there was a look that they caught obviously in the episode. And I thought, what's that look for? And then we learn through flashbacks, which I thought it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
We learned through flashbacks a lot of things. One, Andrew saved Melly from a near fatal overdose.
That was, yes.
So it was just, okay. And he literally saved her. They showed him in the flashback, like, getting her to vomit. And I thought, wow, okay, he really saved her. And then we learn that Melly actually opens up to Andrew.
Yes, and confided in. So he is probably the only one who
knows. Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So confided in him about the whole everything with her father-in-law and
And you know what I thought also was interesting. It really gave us some insight into Fitz and Milly's marriage.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
See, I always thought that things were kind of. I thought that up until Olivia Pope entered into their picture, I thought that they were, an okay couple together. But clearly,
they started to deteriorate after everything happened with his father. But I do remember, like, when he was governor and they were all like, they were quite loving with one another. I remember thinking to myself, what happened? How did they go from that to that? And so you slowly see how that whole incident with his father impacted their marriage and probably led them to the point of wherever they were when Olivia Pope showed up on the scene and history.
Made her way.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there was that. And then, of course, it culminated with them in the room in the White House with all the portraits of the first ladies, which I thought was an awesome way to do it. And,
I have to say, I didn't think Milly was going to run off. I can't believe I guess, no. She will. She won't run for long.
No.
She will not run
anyways,
for long.
I thought that was a great...
I loved it.
Prelude.
I liked it. So you know what? So I like Andrew. I like him too. Yeah. I like him as a character. I think he's going to be good.
Yep. I like him.
I like him. So he's a keeper.
Okay. What is up with Publius?
Publius or Publius? Publius.
I think it is pronounced Publius.
Clearly they didn't say that word out loud.
And I love that Shonda Rhimes actually owned up to it in the episode.
Say it out loud.
When David says to him, what was up with the name? And James fully on admits, I never said it out loud.
But he also said that it had some historical significance, which not that this really matters, but I actually meant to Google it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to spell it.
So there was the whole thing about the name.
Okay, So this is where you put your money, folks. I say that Cyrus Bean knows that James is Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
okay.
no.
So this is why. If you go back and rewatch the episode the way I did, you'll see that there's that first meeting in Cyrus's office where Cyrus asks James to do something, and James pushes him off and says, and Cyrus says, "Are you speaking to me as the White House correspondent or as my husband?" And he's like, "Both." And then he walks out of Cyrus's office, and Cyrus has this look on his face like, that's odd.
No, he doesn't know. He would not have sent Charlie.
Yes, he would. He did once already. Don't you remember?
But then he backed off.
Exactly. And then right before, when he's on the phone with Charlie, he says to Charlie, he says, "We have a snake where you cut off the head and it grows two more." And
but do you really think that he thinks of James that way? And this episode was proof, proof. He was like an amateur amongst all these
James was?
James.
For sure.
He was a nervous Nelly the whole episode, so fearful that he was going to get caught.
And that's why Cyrus has figured out that it's him, because James is not very
And my question
good
to the last episode where I said, why would Cyrus help Sally?
Yes.
It's because he's feeling guilty for everything that he did, for what he did to James, and his part that he played in the whole eventual fatality of
Daniel Douglas.
So I don't think, my opinion is that I don't think Cyrus knows that it's James, because I think he would be devastated if he knows, and he would also try and approach it from a different manner. I don't think he wants the blood of two people on his hands. That's my opinion.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll give her that point about the blood of two people on his hands. Okay, well, two people. Which two people? Amanda Tanner? Like, how many people? I understand what your point is, but I'm saying...
Well, okay, there's more than two.
At what point does he say, so to
get
I don't want to murder?
Yeah, I agree. His hands are filthy. So to get you
caught up,
thank you. Basically, now James and David are trying to get the information out through one of the White House reporters, and so there's meetings that are being set up, and James led Cyrus to believe that he was going to set up this meeting, but then it fell through, but it really was taking place. But then he realized, hey, I'm the White House press secretary. I can't go to meet this reporter. So he sends David. And when Cyrus learns that there's a meeting set up, then Cyrus calls in Charlie and sends Charlie to do his business. So
finish the job. Yeah, and that's where I think he says that he knows. But all right.
But he doesn't know.
Time will prove one of us right
and one of us wrong. And to kind of close that loop, the way that whole scene plays out is David's about to go. James realizes what he's doing, that it's a setup. He realizes that it's a setup.
Yes.
And so...
Tries to call David.
Doesn't get through. You see David walking, and he gets, sacked and put into a trunk. And so...
And at that point, we were all like...
Yeah, more tension. And so then David finally realizes that he loves Abby. So he leaves her a voicemail and says, I just want you to know I love you. And who opens the trunk other than Abby and Huck? They save him. So they were one step ahead of him because they broke into his email. Into his email. So they kind of knew what was going on. So that's how that storyline ended.
I always maintain that I'm glad that I never date during sort of this texting and Tinder world, and that I'm old there. But I have to say, I think I would rather date in a world where I text message everybody than live in Scandal Washington world.
Oh my God,
it's exhausting.
No, but you're not. That's like Scandal Gladiator world. It's not even like But
Well, I think that's what Washington is like.
anyways, there's a lot more. So we
Okay, I'm
gotta keep
sorry.
moving.
Okay.
Quinn, thoughts?
Yeah, the next point.
Okay. All right.
Okay, this is what I'll say about Quinn, because we didn't touch on it the week before, but when she took that little boy,
Oh yeah.
that really bothered me as a mother.
Yeah.
That really bothered me. But
When you
honestly, I don't like her. I'm not liking her.
I'm not liking her very much either. Yeah, I'm not liking her very much. And I thought
it took us a while, I think, to warm up to her.
to begin with, and
now
yeah.
I don't like her again.
So it's interesting to see where her character will go.
Yeah.
But what we did learn was a little bit more from Huck about why he's behaving the way he is. And so we kind of see throughout the episode that he's trying to reconcile with Olivia by bringing her coffee, even though she doesn't drink coffee. And it finally comes out that...
that was a good scene where he says, I can't even say the... Yeah.
He says to Olivia basically that it's her doing that he's the way that he is because he's a monster and she holds the leash.
She gave him too much.
And she gave him too much deep, and she also gave him somebody to love, meaning Quinn. And so when Quinn betrayed them, he behaved as a monster would, but that was Olivia's fault because she put him in charge of that and gave him that control over Quinn.
It was a very good...
Yeah, and it was just a very powerful scene between the two of them, and you kind of see their whole relationship, and you kind of see Huck, how damaged he is. He's
really... I hope that they bring back his wife and son.
Yeah, because they said that maybe they're alive, right? Yeah.
Well, they are alive.
They are alive.
Yeah, we know that they are. So I think Huck's character's got a lot of years left in him.
Hopefully he gets better. So anyways, I thought that was a really powerful scene in the episode. So some other very quick highlights.
So the big bombshells?
No, some quick highlights before that.
Okay.
This was my favorite part of the show, I think, because there was no tension in it, but when Jake finally had enough,
and he comes in to take a fake shower.
And he...
Hard day at selling paper.
That's right. And he tells Olivia, wine is not beer and popcorn is not food. I'm now going to go take a shower and live in my fake
boyfriend
world or whatever. Anyways, I just thought that was great and that he finally...
Get some beer, because wine is not food, not wine is not beer. This is my mother's side of the family coming out.
He said, beer is not...
No, get some beer. Wine is not food, and popcorn is most definitely not a meal. Anyway, he did not say that wine is not beer, which is what she said.
Shall we place another wager?
Oh, honey, top up the glass.
Wine is not beer, and food is not popcorn. That's my version.
And I'm going to say that he said, get some beer, because wine is not food, and popcorn is not a meal.
Okay. We'll check back on that. So I liked that.
I hope I'm not wrong.
Hollis Doyle is back.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be good. And
he's so slimy.
And he's playing two sides of the political fence. So he's trying to get in both with Sally and Fitz. So that was good. Okay. And then in typical Scandal fashion, they left us with not one, not two. I think it was like 3, if not 4 bombshells in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the very most. So listen, this is what the bombshells revealed. The girl, how do you say her name? Adnan, who Harrison is so fearful of and who he consorted with at the beginning of the episode, is really working with
Mama Pope.
And
crazy.
They're trying to infiltrate Fitz's campaign. And they got Harrison to make the donation.
I get so excited just doing these recaps.
They got Harrison to make that cash donation to Fitz's campaign. Who knows what that's all about.
Well, that's going to be money laundering.
For sure. Right? So that was interesting. That was bombshell number 1. Then, bombshell number 2, Olivia and Fitz in his office, and he says, tell me the truth.
Yes.
Do you have feelings for Jake? And she answers,
I don't know.
I honestly don't know. And that, I was like,
and then to find out that he watches it. Oh.
Bombshell number 3.
Oh. Poor Tom. Our good
Tom is actually...
That is his name.
Yeah, that is his name. He's actually working for Jake as he's part of B613 and he's his eyes and ears inside the White House. And at the end of every day, there's a package that is sent to Jake with tape and audio, and he gets to see everything that happens in the White House. And what did he see as the episode was closing? But Olivia saying that
I don't know.
I don't know. So it was like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
That was a recap